crime reduction is desirable and must be pursued, but murder reduction doesn't necessarily lead to a safe society. Because in the society that we live, people must feel safe. If murders are down to zero and you're afraid to go through your door and you can't leave your windows and doors open, we have a problem. We don't have a murder problem, but we have a security problem. It is the sense of security that enhances the quality of life of our people.
I hear quite often people ask, what is it that the opposition is doing to deal with crime and violence in the country? Firstly, we have one government at a time. The People's National Party is not the government. Yes, we have some responsibilities in the governance, but we are not the government. We don't have the authority to institute policies and programs of the government.
This press conference is being called in an environment where there is palpable fear within the country, as persons are not sure about their own security and that of their loved ones. You will well recall when the Prime Minister said that if you vote for the PNP, you may lose your life, and that if you vote for the Labour Party, you'll be able to leave your windows and doors open. I can recall him telling Senator Bunting that he shouldn't come here with this nonsense about crime is a everybody problem. Right? Take some responsibility. He went on to say that, yes, crime and health are national issues, but if the government is going to come to you and say it's an everybody problem, what's the point of having a government? He actually said these things, you know.
More fundamentally, the government's approach to national security is unbalanced and has led Jamaica to becoming an increasingly violent and dangerous place. Generally speaking, Jamaica needs to tackle the deep inequalities in our society, investing in repairing the most egregious manifestations of that inequality if we are to achieve sustained improvements in our national security situation. Dr. Horace Chang's tenure as Minister of National Security has been an abject failure, leaving Jamaicans feeling frightened, hopeless, and in despair. He clearly cannot bring the vision, energy, and vigor and communication skills which that portfolio requires. We are therefore calling on the Prime Minister to relieve him of his duties in that portfolio and give someone else an opportunity to bring a fresh and hopefully more effective approach. Commissioner of Police Anthony Anderson is also hereby being put on warning. He is the main architect and promoter of the government's state of emergency strategy as an ongoing policing tool. No other commissioner of police before him has followed that unprecedented and what we regard as a dangerous path, abrogating the most basic and hard-won rights of Jamaicans in the name of ordinary policing. The constitutionality of his use of the states of emergency is in serious doubt. As I have already shown, there are other tools in the toolbox for him to use, and some others that the government needs to quickly deal with and address to provide him with, which should have been legislated for already. If the Commissioner cannot find another strategic approach to getting the crime problem under control within the next 60 days, I think he must call it a day as well and allow someone else to take up the mantle of Commissioner. Thank you.
Then let me also remind Dr. Chang that if Prime Minister Holness is not brave enough to reassign you, because I realize that he's afraid to make certain moves. So like Bobby Montague is the leader of the black section of the Labour Party. He doesn't really want to trouble him. If he doesn't want to trouble you because you're General Secretary, I'm asking you, Minister Chang, to do the honorable thing and to resign from the post of Minister of National Security and allow somebody who has some vision and some testicular fortitude to come forth and do the job.
For many years, we've been making a point that the ratio of security forces, in particular police officers, to population is on the low end of the scale in Jamaica. In fact, between 2015 and the beginning of, there was no net increase in the number of police officers. It was over 2,000 below the established complement of the force. We made a point repeatedly that the high level of recruiting in the JDF, that increased the JDF by thousands, was really a misallocation of resources. The priority should have been to increasing the number of police officers who are trained in intelligence gathering, in doing criminal investigations, and in preparing cases for prosecution. None of these things are the strength or the core training, if at all, in the military. So we've really seen an inefficient allocation of the massive increase in resources, 10 times in terms of the capital allocations, and yet we're not seeing the results because the expenditure has not been in the priority areas.
Let me start with national security. For the last 3 months, violent crime, in particular murders, have been trending down. And Andrew Holness preferred to stand up at a podium and declare state of emergency after state of emergency, with his flanked by his generals like a wannabe tyrant. Like a wannabe tyrant. What was the result for the last 8 years? Murders increased 25% in this country. 2,300 more Jamaicans were murdered because of this foolish pursuit of Andrew Holness. This man should be hanging his head in shame. That is why I am saying he's not only playing the fool and playing the clown, but he has played with the lives of Jamaican people, and that is a shame and disgrace, and he must never be given a chance to go back to Jamaica House. You hear them talking about percentage. Percentage talking about coming down last year is like a man stab you with a 6-inch blade and him pull out back 2-inch. You're not going to thank him for that. This year, the first year, we're seeing real reductions, and it has nothing to do with Andrew Holness and the Labour Party. And using as the instruments of the divine intervention, the ministers' fraternals, the academics, the business community, those persons who work in the NGO community, those of us who are in political service, all to try and make an impact.
Until then, however, the minister told the gathering that based on the numbers, it could be perceived that the crime beast is winning. His voice broke during the declaration. He tried hard to control his emotions.
I'm not embarrassed to say that right now, as Minister of National Security, I'm going through a kind of a dark night of the soul, because we're trying very hard at the ministry. I see the men and women of the security forces trying very hard, working night and day, long hours. I see the leadership, capable, competent, professional, both of the police and the military. And so much effort is being made, and yet so little headway, such slow headway is coming out in the statistics.
At one point, there was a pause by the minister. He needed a moment.
And
so what's keeping him going in light of the grim reality? The minister said he's clinging to faith.
And it really takes a lot of faith to keep working and going.
in the face of this. And of course, I'm happy that I have so many persons of faith to encourage and support not just myself, but all of the security forces at this time.
So a call for help from a higher power to help save the nation. Many hope the prayer will be answered.
Let it not be forgotten that the PNP ran this country for 18 and a half unbroken years. If you want to live safe in your yard, if you want to be able to fall asleep and let the door open, and wake up in the morning and still be alive, you cannot make the mistake of putting in the PNP.
You can sleep with your windows and doors open. Fantasy again.
You will well recall when the Prime Minister said that if you vote for the PNP, you may lose your life, and that if you vote for the Labour Party, you'll be able to leave your windows and doors open.
We don't have a murder problem, but we have a security problem. It is the sense of security that enhances the quality of life of our people. Crime reduction is desirable and must be pursued, but murder reduction doesn't necessarily lead to a safe society.
You can sleep with your windows and doors open. Fantasy again.
We don't have a murder problem, but we have a security problem. It is the sense of security that enhances the quality of life of our people.
We're going to do a couple of things. First, we're going to enforce the law. And that is what we're doing. It is not an easy task to communicate this, because there are vested interests who want to turn this into a political issue for their political benefit. There must never be any political compromise about the rule of law. For decades we have been winking and being duplicitous and equivocal about the enforcement of the rule of law. And that is why we are where we are today. My job as your Prime Minister, I passed the stage of trying to, or needing to win political popularity and favor. Doesn't matter to me anymore. I have to start to think about legacy. What will Jamaica be? Will it be the same as I came and saw it? I can't let Jamaica be the same as I came and saw it.
My fellow Jamaicans, today marks a historic turning point in our journey toward lasting peace and security. In 2025, murders fell below 700 for the first time since 1994, over 31 years ago. This represents more than a 40% reduction year over year, with over 470 lives spared when compared with 2024. These are individuals who remain with their families, contributing to their communities and to national development. Compared to the 2009 peak of 1,683 murders, this represents a 60% decline, or more than 1,000 lives saved. Through strategic direction, policy support, and sustained investment by the Ministry of National Security and Peace, the Jamaica Constabulary Force led a remarkable transformation that produced the progress we now celebrate. That investment enabled critical reforms, including expanded personnel, modernized infrastructure, improved compensation, integrated technology, and a merit-based promotions, with over 2,100 officers promoted since 2024. Flagship initiatives such as Project Rock and the deployment of modern surveillance, communications, and intelligence systems have strengthened operational effectiveness. Prevention-focused efforts, including the Live Good anti-violence campaign, continue to address the root cause of crime. I extend sincere appreciation to the men and women of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Jamaica Defense Force, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, our correctional officers, border security teams, and all partners across the national security architecture. Your collective efforts have changed the trajectory of our nation, placing us firmly on the path to long-term, sustainable crime reduction. This achievement belongs to all Jamaicans. Together, let us protect this hard-won peace and press forward to what we can and must become: a safer and more peaceful Jamaica. May God bless Jamaica, land we love.